Did the slides, sir, sir, can you help me some more? I get a slide. Oh, there we go. Okay, great. Okay.
We'll have a photo session right after the sponsor talk. So please stay
Yep.
around
All right.
for the photo.
All right. All right, thanks very much. So Jim, you're part of the next story too, so stay there, as a number of you are. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Enterprise DB. This company's been around for 20 years doing Postgres and contributing to Postgres. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the things we've done recently, we'll call that the present, and the things we're going to do, we'll call that the future. So, beginning out, okay, so it was founded 20 years ago by one of my panelists and the previous keynote speaker up there, but a lot of the employees there are here in various places, and the four organizers of this particular conference were some of the early employees at Enterprise DB. And it needed a foundation to create an alternative to Oracle, where people were just tired of paying so much money and having so much pain, not getting good support. And they based it on Postgres. And they wanted to build a great database, a great open source database, and wanted it to build great expertise, excellent expertise around it, to both have a great database experience, but also a great service experience. Okay. So along the way, this is some of the things they did early on. We hired Bruce and told him to go work on Postgres, although I think like 5 days a month he was able to help me with stuff, with training, things like that. And we built a global team, 300 people here in India, all about doing Postgres. We had support, engineering, and I'll talk a little about some of the engineering we've done here in India. And we sponsored most of the major conferences over 20 years. And we contributed many features to Postgres, and I'm going to get into the specifics of that in a moment. Okay. All right, so this is a timeline. It took me a long time to find this and put this together, but EDB acquired Second Quadrant about 5 years ago, and that was my second incantation at EDB as I came in through the acquisition. But these are all the things. You see the Postgres release over there in 0.8. That was, I think, in, I don't know, somebody can help me here, but 2005. And that, the first feature that was contributed was something called HOT. Who knows what HOT stands for? Anyone? Okay, so maybe like 10%. It stands for heap-only tuples, and it was developed and contributed by Pavan. I hope I said that correctly. I've been told I've been saying his name wrong for a long time. Pavan Delosi developed it and contributed it. And what it enables is when you update a row, you don't necessarily have to update the index. And Postgres' biggest pain point, one of the biggest pain points at the time, was updates. And this made things a lot better and a lot faster. It was a lot of work, it got it in. But if you see Pavan, again, one of our organizers, you can thank him for the updates. All right, streaming replication. If you are not using streaming replication, one or two things are true. One is you really are and you just don't know it, whether it's in the cloud or whatever it is. Or the other thing is you better start using it. Or it's probably the most used feature in Postgres, being able to update a table and have it updated on a replica with very little overhead. All right, and as we kind of got into this, is right around, this is kind of getting into 2011, 2012. Our customer said, well, what do we have to do to more workloads offer proprietary databases? They really, really need parallel query. That's got to happen. And we worked on that and contributed that over a number of releases, including things like we also contributed table partitioning. Postgres had a partitioning mechanism, but we made it declarative and excellent syntax that people recognized and migrated to and was part of the SQL standard. And then finally, we also contributed logical integration, and Postgres started to get a bunch of use cases where it became an EIA system, okay, enterprise integration system. You could push data out to Kafka, out to another database, and also enabled, Jim talked about upgrades taking a long time or being painful. This became a great way to upgrade with near zero downtime, doing a major version upgrade, okay? Now, we had this in our proprietary product, but together with Second Quadrant, we contributed to the open source product, to stored procedures, getting more and more proprietary, more and more things off proprietary databases and onto Postgres. And really, over the coming years, where we were mostly about was more parallel operations, out parameters for storage procedures, making things better and better and better. Okay? So what happened next? Oh, good, interesting story. Okay, we contributed the merge feature. This is a few years ago now. So this is a very interesting statistic. Raghavendra, who runs our migration practice, told me that the average database application has 12 merge statements. Okay, and I guess merge commands. Bruce corrected me. That was command, not statement. 12 merge commands, and each command takes about 2 days to migrate. All right, to actually migrate that. And so you think of all the migration efforts that failed just because that extra 2 days or that extra month or whatever it is, and those applications that may have hundreds of them, it all failed. So getting this contributed to Postgres and limiting all that time and having it work in a standard way, in the case of Enterprise Server having it work in an Oracle way, made many more applications able to come to Postgres. All right, so this was a big deal, made in the Parker News. I know it was a simple statement thing, but just these little things can have huge impact. Okay, so this is the things we did for Postgres 17. I'll let you read that. We can talk a little bit about it, but I'm going to focus mainly on one. The big thing we worked on was incremental backup, getting that into the database core. As we start dealing with larger and larger databases, particularly in the A model, you need this. This has to happen. Only back up what you've done. The biggest thing, one of the biggest features of incremental backup that people don't always realize is it also gives you very, very fast recovery times. Not only do your backup times goes down significantly, not only does your disk space usage go down significantly, but your recovery times are faster. Again, talking about that outage issue that Jim mentioned previously. All right, so now I have to get to before I get to the next slide, I have to have a little bit of a disclaimer here. There are lots of ways that people contribute to the community, all right? We talked about the PG contribute thing. They host conferences, they host meetups, they write docs, they write blogs, all those things. And I had this conversation with Joe Conway. You've heard the concept of lies, damn lies, and benchmarks. Well, you can get a similar concept about who contributes the most to the community and which way. So with that, here are some things I'd like to point out for the EDB. All right, in 2024, we contributed more lines of code to Postgres than anybody. And that's the way it's been for a long time, for a number of years. And the source for this are LinkedIn, where people work, and where Robert Haas's blog comes out every year and describes who contributed. But the thing I'm really excited about was for PG17, we had more patch authors than anybody. And not so much that we had more patch authors than anybody, we had so many more than we had the previous year. We had a lot of new patch authors, and this is a thing that we're trying to develop more and more expertise around Postgres internally and make Postgres better. Okay, so why is this important? Why is contributing so important to us? Okay, there's, community is great and all that, but there's a business reasons here too, a lot, okay? It gives us the best possible position to help our customers. If we've written the code, we understand the code, we can help you, all right? And you see Dilip and Roche up there gave a talk about some real serious issues that happened where customers were down because of a Postgres bug. We gave them a patch and contributed upstream, and having to redesign this SLRU cache to make things go better and faster, okay? And it helps us get great people who come work for us on Postgres. If you want to do that, we are hiring. Where's Motion? He'll tell you I had to throw that particular thing. And it creates a real culture, a company culture of giving back, of being things. And then, we want people to know when they buy a product from us, we invest back in the open source community. And that really helped. I mean, people like that. They believe that. And our 1,600 customers feel bad about that. I've put here a couple of QR codes. One is about helping customers. The other thing I'm going to talk about in a moment is Kubernetes. The Kubernetes community need a lot of things in Postgres, and we've been working a lot of things like Jimmy. We hope to get things in a couple weeks into Postgres 18 that will help grow and make Postgres run better on Kubernetes. All right, so taking things forward. It's no longer about making it an alternative to other databases or making it a place you migrate to. People are just starting with their applications there. This is where it begins, this is where it ends. People do this, okay? And we need to keep it that way and keep growing, right? You can't get lazy. And it's like Peter said yesterday, it's good that there's other databases. It motivates us to go forward. And we want to be able to enable the deployment of Postgres everywhere. You know, in the cloud, on-premise, on Kubernetes. We ship installers for every single Linux variant. We ship installers for Windows. By the way, a little story, I've asked people why, you know, Postgres was not the dominant database in the early 2000s. I asked people why that was. And one comment I get is there just weren't Windows installers. There weren't binary installations. We produce the installers for every single Postgres build. When that new release comes out with that important patch, we produce it the same day, both in the installers and in our product. And we're going to be working to help evolve Postgres with current industry changes. Changes like in AI and other things, multi-platform deployments, GPUs, CPUs. These are all things that are important to us. They take time. As I say, merge took 3 years. We'll get there on a number of other things. Okay, so one thing we are doing, we developed an operator for Postgres, a Kubernetes operator for Postgres called Cloud Native Postgres. We have given up, we've open sourced it entirely. Not only that, we've given away the copyright to the Cloud Native Postgres Foundation. People want to run Postgres with Kubernetes. It's very important for us to work very closely with them, the Cloud Native Postgres Foundation, to make sure these things work well. You get support for it from EDB. All right. And how many people attended the training earlier this week? All right. A few? Okay, great. Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. All right, so we are a company. We're going to talk a bit about some products we have. Okay, so we have introduced our hybrid control plane. This is allow you to give the cloud management experience for both your on-prem, your Kubernetes clusters, and things you have in the cloud. So having that experience of being able to roll out new deployments, be able to upgrade them, have high availability, etc. Okay. By the way, I should go back here. You can see, I don't have the time here, but if you want to learn more about that, come to our booth afterwards and we'll find me and I'll talk to you more. EDB Postgres distributed, well, always on. Getting rid of the downtime for upgrades, getting rid of the downtime for a node failure, getting rid of the downtime for a data center failure or a region failure. This is your product, all right? EDB Postgres distributed from Enterprise DB. All right. We have now crossed the 95% Oracle compatible mode with a lot of the recent things that have been done around the XML packages, things that have just been over there. So when we get a new Oracle application, we look at it, we can handle 95% of the code without modification. That's been going up and up over the years, but it's something we continue to work on as there are still many things like that out there. Okay, and one thing I want to talk about is PGAdmin. Probably the most used management and monitoring tool according to the Timescale DB survey. The development team, most of them are here today. It's mostly developed right here in India. I've almost entirely developed it right here in India. We've been developing that for years, giving it back to the community for many things to come. Okay, so they will be, if you want to learn about PGAdmin and its corresponding product for management and monitoring, PEM, Postgres Enterprise Manager, you can come either 12 to 1 to our booth or 3 to 4. All right. All right, so thank you very much for hearing about my journey and our journey together.